Over the weekend, I was watching an interview between Candace Owen and Tatum. I can't remember his first name, but in the conversation, they talked about how her grandpa and his dad demanded so much of them and expected so many high levels of performance from them that it changed the way they see the world. But they were accused because of being African American that when they, in Candace's words, spoke proper English, they were accused of trying to be too white. Or when they had great scores on their schoolwork, A's and B's, that they were accused of trying to be too white. It's fascinating to me what kind of mindset drives those kind of comments. I'm J Loren Norris with Leading Leaders Podcast. Yesterday I had a great honor and a great privilege, an opportunity to be that proverbial fly on the wall. You know, everybody says, I want to be the fly on the wall. Michael Jr. says, why would you want to be a fly? They only live 24 hours. Even if you heard something fascinating, you couldn't use it. You'd be dead. Not like flies can talk or even understand what humans are saying anyway, but all that's beside the point. The idea of being the fly on the wall is the idea of being the incognito observer that no one's paying any attention to, so you can see and hear and understand what's going on in the room, and nobody cares that you're there. And yesterday I was behind the camera for 4 hours, and I got to watch and listen and observe and even interact with some extremely intelligent, very well educated, very successful business people who have some great ideas and some great policies that I believe need to be enacted. And these are people who are leaders and representatives, business owners, leaders of schools, leaders of industry, leaders of entertainment, who want to see change in their own communities. I heard things like, why is it that no matter what city you go to, the street with the name Martin Luther King Jr. is always one of the most blighted, poverty-stricken streets in America? Why is it that we see our young people being taught to stand on the corner and panhandle asking for handouts? Whether it's proverbially or literally on the corner asking for handouts. Because really all we're doing is training them for the practice of prostitution. Why is it that we allow our kids to be caught up in this wave of what we call education, where their best hope is to get out and have a job working for somebody else, where their best opportunity to grow isn't going to call out the best in them, it's just going to pay the bills over and over and over again? Why don't we teach them entrepreneurialism? Why don't we challenge them to be better people? Why don't we challenge our men to stay at home and take care of their families, or at minimum to be a consistent influence in the lives of their children? Why don't we encourage women who are great business minds, great leaders, great influencers? They lead with compassion. They care about others. Why don't we encourage them to get involved in politics and bring integrity and a lack of payola and corruption into our system? And as I'm listening to this, it's like I'm standing in a room full of Candace Owens, but she's not there. She doesn't have anything to do with it. In fact, I'm not even sure that she and this group of people would get together. See, the thing that baffles me is that you hear this grand division between conservatives and liberals, between black and white, that as if there's no way that they would ever have common ground. And the reality is, as I experienced it last night, there's a whole lot of common ground. There's a whole lot of ambition for our children. Not black children, not white children, our children, the next generation, to have hope. There's a whole lot of compassion for families to stay together intact. Not black families, not white families, not conservative families, not liberal families, not Democratic families or Republican families. Families, fathers and mothers and children, to stay together intact. See, there's a lot of power in just those notions. Intact families, education for the purpose of entrepreneurialism, and integrity without corruption. That's pretty universal. I don't know any country, city, state, continent who wouldn't want that. When I've spoken to parliament leaders in the Congo, when I speak to business leaders in Nigeria, when I spoke to business leaders in Brazil, and even to ministry leaders in Cuba, they all want the same thing. They want their children to grow up with hope. They want to know that they have an opportunity beyond getting an education to go get a job. They want to know that their families stay together and that corruption is out of politics. Those are consistent, universal themes. Every race of people, every class of people, every walk of life, and every level of education has that universal desire. So where does all this division, or in my opinion, fake division, come from? It comes from one source of people, one heart of people, and I'm not going to put them in any category because it's not about Democrat or Republican, conservative or liberal. It's a certain elitist mindset that says, if we can get this group of people under our thumb and get this group of people to give us money, we can manipulate the balance of power until we have all the power at someone else's expense. The expense of their freedom, the expense of their money. That's a problem. I think I was 18 years old, maybe 19, when the first thought came to me. I was in Honduras in the Air Force when I finally put it together. It's on a plaque somewhere, a wooden hand-carved plaque. And it says, freedom. It's endangered by a love for power, but it's protected by the power of love. Leaders, I don't care what your level is in the community, what your level is in education. If you have influence, these are some core principles, some core values in any portion of the community. Asian community, African American community, Caucasian community, Mexican community. If you hold these values to be truthful, powerful, and necessary, get involved in saving our families as families intact, mom and dad together whenever possible, but dad at least involved in the raising of his children, not counting on the government or somebody else to do that. Lack of corruption in our government structures, integrity, compassion, passion, and wisdom, raising our young people to be entrepreneurial. That doesn't necessarily mean they all have to own a business, but it does mean that they have the mindset that I can do this. I can put my own skills and talents to work and make a change in our life. And the power for women to rise up and lead. Because the contribution women bring to the political structure, that women bring to the business structure, that women bring to the education structure is something that a man simply can't do. I've said it for as long as I've been able to talk. My mom was a great mom, but my mom can't dad any more than I can mother. In the political realm, in the religious realm, in the family realm, there are certain things men are wired to do that women can't do, and certain things women are wired to do that men can't do. If you're a leader in your community, no matter how big or small your influence, get involved in those core principles. I'm J Loren Norris with Leading Leaders Podcast for Tell It Like It Is TV. Have a blessed day.